Okay, it's out the box, and here we go. That's the top view. Let's have it back. Here we go. A bit of glare. I'll fix that. There we go. It's a millivoltmeter. Well, RF millivoltmeter, I should say. And that is just spinning around. That doesn't feel right. It's just slipping. I'll put a shorter story is there. All these controls are really stiff. This has not been used in quite some time. That feels alright. But that's just slipping. That's not actually switching. So I'm going to have to do some work on this, I think, which is good because that's exactly what I want to do. And I believe it's supposed to be a switch, not a variable. Wouldn't make sense to be a variable. And voltage selection on the back. Need to change that. There you go, changed. And yeah, so it's a, get all that for you, MV-828A. In case anyone wants to see more information about that, but apparently it works. Well, I think it said it would work, or was it sold parts repair? I mean, that is really stiff. That the switch there, that is, it's all gunky, I think. So to see how we go. Now, so look at this probe again. Sometimes things are matched with serial numbers. So that's 7820. 7820, serial numbers match. So it's actually with 1 for this unit, which is good because it means the calibrations should be better. It's got a little hook attachment on there, and I believe this unscrews. It does. This gives it kind of fitting on there, but yeah, I thought it'd be an interesting gadget to have around. Fairly cheap. There are of course other brands which are a bit more expensive, but hopefully this is a goer, and hopefully it works okay. So there will be a video on this one coming up. So right, that's my bag. All the usual stuff. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe and blah blah blah. Tell your friends and share the video if you're interested in this sort of stuff. Catch you later. Alright, so back to this unit here. So as you would have seen in the mail bag for this, I've got this Millivac Instruments MV-828A millivoltmeter. Now this knob is really stiff. That knob is just spinning around on the shaft, and this is also really stiff. So what I'm going to do is take it apart and see what I'm dealing with inside there, and see if it all looks good. Let's see how this thing here goes on it, eh? This is a recent birthday present from my wife. I think she got sick of me complaining about the number of screws and some bits of test gear when I was taking them out. I might try and save you some noise by doing it a bit further away. Here we go. See any trouble with it. A bit noisier than this. Right, let's see if the top pops off. Ta-da! Right, let's find out what's inside this. I've never seen inside it. I haven't even seen any pictures. So it's got some capacitors in there, electrolytics. Quite a few actually, surprisingly. I'm just trying to see if I can see any signs of leakage. No, all seems okay from what I can see so far. Nothing obvious. ICC brand, no idea. 85 degree rated though, not rated very high. This has been dipped or something, or it's sealed. So the boards are on the sides, it's nice and easy to work on. That's really good, isn't it? You know, if you need to do something. That's quite a nice construction. There's a panel here which gets to the back of that board. can see through there, it's like adjustments on the back of that board. Yeah, it does. Let's pop this off and have a look. Yeah, I'll save you some noise. Just have a look. I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to look underneath here to show you what's here. We'll pop it back on again, I expect. So there we go. So the adjustments for the calibration. So to calibrate, you don't have to take the cover off. Well, the main cover. You just have to take this back one off. It's pretty good. I do like the construction. It looks like they've thought about this really well. Yeah, I quite like that. Pop it again. So I need to try and free these knobs up and figure out what's going on there and find out why they're so tight and jammed, basically. It's probably just lack of lubrication, or I don't think there's any corrosion. I can't see any corrosions on the outside, at least. Everything looks like it's in really good condition. It was sold as a used unit, not as a faulty one. It was commented on the listing that the knob was hard to turn, so it has been declared, which is fine. It's just, you know, okay, it's not that big a deal. And so I'm going to have to look at that a little bit and just correct that problem. Now, so I also noticed that my videos, which when they go over about 5 minutes long, the audio goes out of sync. You know, if you do like that, it'd be out of sync. It's to do with the variable frame rate that my camera records in, and the software I'm using doesn't like variable frame rate, and it goes out of sync. So I think I'm going to start doing, or getting in the habit of just like doing little bits of video, like do some, stop it, do a bit more, and just put all those bits together in the editing stage to try and stop that synchronization issue happening. So I'm going to stop this now and carry on in a second. Okay, so I'll move the camera as well while I'm at it. Now this one here is really, really stiff. That's just like, that is really tight. Let's just do a little bit of oil on that one there and to see if I can free that one up. It is actually getting a little bit better just with me turning it. So let's just put some in here somewhere. Just spray a bit in there. And see if it will free things up just a little bit. Yeah, man, that's freeing up already. Look, that's already getting better. It's just years of not being used, it would seem. So I might try and get some down the shaft and through the actual body there, but it's getting better and better already. So this one here is really tight, the bottom one, which does the main ranges. I mean, I can't turn that at all. So this one's going to be a little bit more tricky. So again, I'm just trying to not get it on the switches themselves, just on the actual mechanical aspects. If I can get the thing to spray, that'd be helpful. Let's just try and stand this up. My can's a little bit too empty, I think. Go on. There we go. Just trying to get a little bit out. Hopefully it'll penetrate through and do the job. I think once it frees up it'll be alright. I'm not sure how exciting this bit is for the video, but it's one of these things, you know. Let's have a look at what fuse is in here. Even if it's intact. What's intact? What's in it? That's a really good question. 3/10 amp. Okay. I'm not familiar with that kind of marking. That's a bit strange. Three-tenths of an amp, is it? Surely not. I don't know. What's it supposed to be? 0.3 amp. So maybe it's a third of an amp. Yeah, okay. Strange marking. I'm not familiar with that. It's pretty odd. Anyway, okay. So that's giving that oil a little bit of a chance to penetrate through that shaft. Let's see if it's any better. See, that one there is turning better now, it's getting better and better. This still doesn't want to actually switch yet. It's just spinning on the shaft that is really locked up. I don't know which direction it's supposed to be turning in. So I might actually have to take this knob off and grab hold of the shaft with some pliers and get the thing to start moving. You can see the whole body's twisting there in the back. But yeah, that's definitely quite bad. Yeah, I'm going to have to pull that apart. So I'm going to come back to this in a second once I've got this knob off. Alright, so I've got a tool here which fits the caps because I've already loosened them off, but the thing is just not wanting to actually come out yet. So it must have worn a groove in the shaft, so I've got to try and get this out now. So that's going to be fun, isn't it? Eh? Not the best bloody thing to deal with. I mean, you can't really see what I'm doing either. Let me just do it this way. So it's spinning around, they're free now, but it must have a groove stuck on the shaft. It just doesn't want to come off. And that's one of these things that happens from time to time. So I need to try and get underneath here and get a bit more momentum. Let's try this. Don't want it to be too harsh on it. Just want to try and help get the thing to lift off. Come on. Let's move slightly, I think. Don't want to break the knob in the process. It'd be quite embarrassing if I do a video and I break the knob on it. It has not really moved that much actually. Yeah, I don't know. This is going to be a pain getting this thing off. Or I could just try lock it in one position and see if I can get the thing to move. I mean, after all, I'm trying to do is get it to move. Let's just do these up tighter and see if I can get it to grip. One of these was actually quite loose, so see if I can get it to turn. No, that's not doing it, is it? That just is not working. That is really seized. The shaft is turning. I can see the shaft turning. Progress. But still really stiff. So this is going to be a pain. I shall come back once I get this freed up, hopefully. Right, I managed to get the thing off. It was a hell of a job doing it too. Basically the knob disintegrated. The plastic's still intact, but you can see here where it's been digging in, trying to leave it behind here. That's what these are. I was trying to get behind the knob there and get as straight as possible off the shaft, but the knob came off the actual splined insert, and that's stayed firmly in place. But once I've got that off, now I can actually get between the back of the insert and that face there and actually just get some action on there, and managed to finally get it off. It's taken me quite a while, probably half an hour to get that off. But what's happened here is the shaft has actually got a groove worn in it where the thing's been slipping. So if you can see that there, little line just around it, that's actually grooved in, and then it's because it's a softer shaft, it's bitten into the inside of this, and it's basically just mated together well and truly. So anyway, I've got that off now, so now I can actually get on here with some pliers or something and some kind of grips and get on there and get it freed up. Once it's freed up, I can look at repairing this knob and putting it back on again. So it's a bit of a butcher job getting that off. It was, really wasn't happy about how hard it was to get off there, but I didn't break that at least. So I've got to just push this insert back into it and I should be good again. But first things first, I've got to get this thing to actually turn. Right, so I managed to get the knob to work now. It's now actually operates a switch. That took quite a bit of effort, but it got there. So it now functions. This is freed up quite nicely as well now, and that was already okay. So now I'm ready to plug it in and see what actually happens. See if it goes bang or not. Moment of truth, isn't it? I suppose I should plug the probe in. I won't put the casing on just in case something goes, and I want to see what goes if something does go bang. Let's just plug this probe in first. Run through to see how it goes. It's got like a locking barrel. Here we go. Okay. Hope you're ready for the bang. So far so good. Just flick the switch. Turn the switch on. Still no bang. And the meter moves. Okay. It has some life at least. So it's doing something. And try to balance this while I touch the probe. Well, it's looking promising. It's responding. So what I really need to do is put this onto some kind of generation source, and see if I can verify its accuracy. Right, so I'm playing around with this now, just trying to verify the various ranges and accuracy and that sort of thing. So I've got my Marconi hooked up. I've got a 50 ohm dummy load on the output and a BNC cable running down the clip leads down to the meter here. I also have my Fluke 45 hooked up to show me a AC voltage, just to verify. There we go. Alright, and basically what I'm doing now, I've got 50 millivolts coming out there. I've got it running at 100 kilohertz to improve the accuracy of the gear. This meter here can do like 600 megahertz or something apparently, so it's not that, it's more of the Fluke. I'm trying to make sure it's accurate. So that is working in that sense, so that's pretty good. Now what I've actually found is that these two ranges here, the minus 50 dB and the minus 40 dB, they don't work properly. There's a lot of it just goes full scale. The other ranges do seem to work with varying degrees of accuracy. It seems these bottom ones aren't as accurate as they should be. At least it appears that way. So if I'm going to set this at 100 microvolts, it's pretty much full scale, so yep, it is. So if I go to the 0.3 range, that should be 1, it is. If I do 1 volt range and I go to 0.5 volts, so 500 millivolts, that's pretty much right, as is my Fluke over there saying the same thing. And if I go to the 3 volt range, it's a bit there, so I don't think I'll be able to get it to register in that range because this probably doesn't go high enough output. I don't think it's going to go there. 1 volt. Yeah, 812 millivolts is the highest I can do on my Marconi there, and that looks about right. So it's 885 or something on there, so there's a bit of a discrepancy there. My Fluke is saying 820 and my Marconi is saying 812, so it could be a slight calibration thing going on there, but otherwise it's not too bad. So if I go back to 10 millivolts, bring it right down, so that's full scale on there, thereabouts. Alright, so it's close, it's very close. This is obviously without doing the setting reference here. The 1 millivolt, that's on the 0.1 range, so yeah, that's a bit wrong. My Fluke is saying it's 33 millivolts. That might be frequency related, it might not be liking that. Let's try a different frequency, let's try 10 kilohertz. Yeah. Yeah, it's not liking that frequency. So I'm doing 10 kilohertz on my Marconi, the Fluke's saying that's 1 millivolt output, but it's actually, yeah, it's right. That's right. I've got to set 1 millivolt, so that's okay there. But this is still not quite right, but then it's right at the bottom of the range, so it should be there. But this range here is just maxing out. Now, at 1 millivolt, it should only be about here. So it's got an issue there. If I actually disconnect the probes, there's now no probe connected, and it's still full scale. If I, there we go, see it bounces, it goes down, comes back. We'll do that every once in a while, just goes down, comes back. So there's an issue here on these ranges. On the bottom range as well, same deal. It does something different. So looks like there might be a leaky capacitor there somewhere or something like that. Moving the probe around doesn't seem to change anything much. I don't know, it's just a bit erratic anyway. If I touch the probe, then yeah. If I touch the probe to ground, no difference. So and if I unscrew the probe tip, it goes away. Right, that's without the probe tip screwed in. I've just unscrewed it. So it could be some radiated noise, because I do have Wi-Fi and things like that running in this room. So it could be it's actually picking up the Wi-Fi signals and affecting it, or there's too much mains noise, 50 Hz main noise in here as well, because I've got all this bench gear. So it's entirely possible it could just be some kind of noise. So unscrewing that resolved it. So I'm not entirely sure. There's a little bit of oxidation on there. Might give that a clean actually, but so it could just be. I mean, this part seems to be working okay. So I'm expecting it's just radiated noise on those very low levels. Now I'll screw it back on again, and now it's come back up. So yeah, it's a bit of a challenge to know what's going on there. But the other ranges seem to be working fine. It just whether or not it's within calibration is the question here. I might have to try and figure out a way of calibrating this and doing. I do have the service manual which shows all the calibration data and how to tune it, check the power supplies, that kind of stuff. So I probably will go through all that whole process. It will take a while, so I think I'll do that just to verify where it's sitting at, and just to check that its internal frequencies are running correctly and that kind of thing. But it seems to be pretty close, so I don't really think there's much of an issue here, to be honest. But so yeah, it seems okay really.